You are the sim racer who has taken his first steps and now wants to treat himself to his first more powerful wheelbase or a nice formula-style wheel with display and all the nice extras. Preferably with SimHub support so you can get some nice dashboards, profiles, LEDs, etc. right away using the power of the community. The options are plentiful, but you'll have to dig deep into your pockets. It's an expensive hobby. Let's look at what's available. Azatec Invicta. Fantastic wheel. We tested it. We can't get away with less than 1,600 euros. The Bavarian SimTech Omega Pro. A dream of a wheel. Crisp encoders. Very nice looking buttons and LEDs, but 2,000 bucks. GSI FPE version 2. Over 1,300 euros and tax not included. Solpack Spectra XR. Mega cool thing. Big 5-inch screen, but also 1,500 euros. Asha Racing McLaren Artura Ultimate. The Max Verstappen sim racing wheel, also 1,500 euros. Then here, the Racing Mayaris 2 with VAT on top in a similar range. SimLab and Grid, high-end range, 2,000 and up. We also showed the F1 wheel here. And then you see this, Conspit Max 01, which costs about half or less of what we just saw. Don't get me wrong, that's still a lot of money for most people, but now the question arises, are the others too expensive or is this one missing something crucial? Where does it fall short? That's what we have to find out today, because we were already able to test a prototype of the Max 01, which was presented just today, show you the Ares 10 Nm wheelbase in action and more of what Conspit has to offer. Welcome back to Overtake. I'm Michel and last week we tested the Conspit CPP.LITE, which put a lot of pressure on prices in the hydraulic pedal market and impressed across the board. It will be interesting to see if the same happens in the wheel segment. Without further ado, let's unpack the Max 01 PC sim racing wheel and see what it can do. The box advertises the partnership with iRacing and SimHub, two big names in sim racing. We are then greeted by the typical Conspit sketch image, which immediately increases the anticipation. USB cables, tools and bolts for mounting QR adapters and a sticker sheet are the accessories. I would have liked a sticker application tool for the latter, which is really helpful sometimes. Luckily we had one lying around from another wheel. And then we have the wheel in front of us. 304mm diameter, 1.3 kilograms without quick release, carbon fiber front, aluminum body. The 4-inch screen, which is also a touch screen, is slightly smaller than most of the competition, which offers 4.3 or even 5-inch screens sometimes, especially when using more detailed dashboards like the popular Lovely Dash. Smaller numbers or lists are not as easy to read, but the difference between 4 and 4.3 is not that drastic. We don't have to race without shift and flag LEDs either. There are 21 in total, all fully programmable. There are also 10 RGB buttons and 8 backlit RGB markers that you can label as you wish. 4 encoders, 4 rotaries and 2 7-way funky switches are made of metal. Now we're starting to wonder what the catch is. Is there anything here that makes the steering wheel look worse than the options that cost twice as much? Hard to say. If I had to nitpick, I don't like the raised and very milky looking buttons. They could also sound a bit richer and more muted when pressed. My daily driver is currently the Simagic FX Pro and I like it a bit better there. And here we can also see that there are similarly priced alternatives. This is probably the closest competitor. The MOZA FSR is also worth mentioning. Neither of them has SimHub support, but they can be easily adjusted in their manufacturer's software. Simagic, for example, has a lot of cool dashboards too. With the 290GP, Conspit also has its own alternative at a very similar price. Different form factor, 4.3-inch screen, more F1 style with connected shift pedals and ergonomically angled buttons around the center. SimHub support is also in the works for the 290GP. You should definitely take a look at it too. By the way, if you like our hardware reviews and other videos and streams, I would be very happy about a like, your free subscription to the channel and activation of that bell of course. A written version of this review is also on our website, overtake.gg. Nothing works here without your support and dedication. Thank you so much. Back to the Max 01's buttons. The pressure point itself is fine, as is the ergonomics. The rotaries and encoders could use a little more assistance for my taste. A special feature are the freestanding thumb encoders here left and right, where Conspit thought about the fact that you can also operate them with your index finger from behind. This has already caused me to accidentally activate them with unintentional hand movements in the heat of the battle, which is why I no longer put anything elementary on them that changes the balance of the car. If they were just 10 to 20% stiffer, this would no longer happen. One detail that will be changed for the production version is the grips, these handles here. So I can only say that they are quite hard at the moment, but we have a sample here that should show the final design and it will be a bit softer. On the back we see magnetic pedal shifters with carbon end plates. Their throw is a bit longer than some of the wheels we've tested recently. They are also well dampened. When you pull them, on the other hand, an echo and vibration is transmitted throughout the wheel body. Not a deal breaker, but maybe another part that takes away a bit from a premium feel. We don't get upper shift pedals here, but we do get two upper buttons on the back that we can assign additional functions to. Dual clutch is almost standard these days, of course with a clutch bite point function that can be controlled via software. In the middle is the 7mm PCD adapter, to which we can connect the most quick release systems of other wheels. If you want to use the wheel with a Conspit base, you can already connect its QR directly and then no longer need the USB cable. For demo purposes, however, I just put the Conspit QR on the adapter and used it standalone with the cable, which also works. By the way, their own QR solution is rock solid. When attaching it, a good technique is always to grip at the top and the bottom and then push it back without too much force. There's zero flex. The only thing that I've noticed is that it is sometimes very tight and difficult to remove after a session. A little layer of grease or PTFE spray may help. Installation and startup of the wheel was flawless. The latest version of Conspit Link, their original software, is still a basic software where we mainly do basic settings, calibrations and updates. Important for you, not only can the rotaries be switched between position, switch and encoder, it is even possible to use positions to map multiple programs for vehicle functions via the thumb encoder and create rotary macros, which can be especially helpful for very complex cars in the hypercar sector with many functions, but so far I have managed well without this feature. Nice to have in any case. SimHub is required for the screen operation. To get up to 60 FPS refresh rate on displays, you need a license. €8 is the minimum for a lifetime license. The tool is very worthy of support. We don't need to talk about it. Nevertheless, you should know this, and yeah, one can only hope for many wheel manufacturers that this dependency will not backfire at some point. SimHub recognizes the Max 01 directly with the latest update, and with very little effort, everything is set up properly. I just installed a lovely dashboard on it, which is free, which also works directly with touch to switch between the pages. There are also profiles for the 21 LEDs pre-installed, and that was a huge plus for me. Not only did the shift lights in all cars fit one-to-one, no matter in which sim, flag signals and even proximity signals when a car is driving next to you are all already included in the profile. Simply great. Let us talk about the Ares Wheelbase, which is Conspit's entry-level model with 10 Nm and is also fairly priced at €599 in the mid-range direct drive market. For 300 more, you can get an 18 Nm version, the Ares Platinum, which is a bit longer, has more cooling capacity and a higher rated power supply. But for today, we will stick with the 10 Nm Ares. Here you can see a size comparison with the competitors Simagic Alpha Mini and MOZA R9. The Conspit Ares is slightly taller than both of them, but still significantly flatter than a Fanatec CS-LED. This can be an important factor when building a rig and looking for monitor placement if you want the screens to sit above the wheelbase or then closer to your seating position. The variable rails with T-nuts are a big plus for wheel deck mounting. Conspit relies entirely on USB-C for the CAN ports on the back. There's also an e-stop connector on the back. On the front, under the Conspit logo, there's something hiding. There's an undefined port for future products, probably like a DDU or something. There are many wheelbase settings and advanced adjustment options in Conspit Link, and most importantly, predefined profiles for the most common simulators and games. Of course, an automatic profile switch would be the cherry on the cake. That's not possible yet. You already have basic settings, that's great, but you don't know what the Conspit tester is used in the game. With ACC, for example, there's a golden rule that you should not go much above 50% FFB in-game to avoid the software clipping. On the racetrack, the Ares 10 Nm in combination with the MOZA 1 made a really good impression. The force feedback is smooth to control, and the profiles in iRacing as at the Corsa Competizione and Le Mans Ultimate, which I tested, give a good feel right out of the box. I chose tracks with lots of elevation changes and offsets, Road Atlanta, Portimao and the Nordschleife of course. In all the scenarios I tested, the wheelbase was reliable and detailed, giving a good feel for the weight of the car and the load on the tires and such, while working very quietly and always accurately. You can also check the temperatures in the software at any time, so you know that the sensors are working. That's nice to see. To be honest, otherwise the differences in the 8 to 10 Nm range between the manufacturers are very small. A lot is happening in the software area right now. Fanatec and Thrustmaster have major updates in the pipeline. Simagic currently offers the most features out of the box, I'd say. Console compatibility is probably also a big factor for many buyers, but let us know in the comments what are the most important factors for you when choosing a wheelbase. Ecosystem, console compatibility, design, software. I would say that the pure hardware and driving experience on the PC is never bad with the direct drive options nowadays. For EAWRC, I swapped the MOZA 1 for Conspit's HAO hub, a very versatile button box that comes with several rim options. This can also be controlled via SimHub for the shift LEDs and RGB buttons, similar to this MOZA 1. So all data and shift timings are communicated correctly. When rallying, the wheelbase, the Ares 10 Nm, was able to show that it's very fast and responsive, which was a lot of fun in combination with the new Hyundai from WRC's latest DLC. So if you're more of a rally driver or drifter, this would be a good addition with the HAO and the round wheel that I installed here, and changing the wheel rim takes, I would say, 3 minutes maximum. But this hub is not cheap, and it would be desirable if Conspit added simpler wheels in the 200 to 300 euro or US dollar range. Verdict time. Conspit is definitely on par with many of the other manufacturers and offers a great sim racing experience. It's just fun, and also with the small selection that they have so far. The MOZA 1 is a standalone wheel as well, which of course shines with other wheelbases if a QR adapter is available. It relies heavily on SimHub, which is also true for most of the competitors, but the wheel has great ergonomics, the quality is good, and the price is almost cheeky good compared to the market. So I give it a 9 out of 10. The encoder resistance and the milky look of the buttons are the biggest gripes for me, but that's a matter of personal taste. Once they add SimHub support for the 290 GP, I would probably prefer it over the MOZA 1 though. The Ares 10 Nm wheelbase gets a solid 8 out of 10 from me. The Conspit Link software still has potential and is expandable, as is the ecosystem. The hardware is technically flawless and delivers what you expect from this class of wheel, but unlike the MOZA 1 or the CPP pedals, it is not as remarkably affordable compared to others. Conspit now has a large dealer network, which you can also find on their website, which is also linked down below. You can also pre-order the MOZA 1 in many stores there today. That's it for today. I imagine you have a few more questions. Feel free to ask them in the comments down below. I read everything. Is Conspit an option for you? What do you like? What else would you like to see? I've also linked the CPP hydraulic pedal review here. Feel free to check it out and see you next time. Bye bye.